to look into another very important topic, and that is the subject verb agreement. That means in a given sentence, how should the verb agree with the subject? So we'll just look at some of the rules that we have to follow when we have to make the verb in accordance with the subject. And there is a very favorite question of all the examiners that they mostly ask in the exams, and that is find out the errors in the following sentences. And most of the times, the errors that are there are in this subject verb agreement. But if you know the rules, you will be easily able to find out the errors. So come on, let us look at the rules of the subject and verb agreement. Subject, as we all know, is the noun or pronoun in a given sentence that we are referring to. And the basic general rule of the subject verb agreement is a singular subject takes a singular verb and a plural subject takes a plural verb. This is the basic, and according to this we have some around 12 to 13 rules depending upon what the subject is, and then accordingly we will see what they are. Now let us just briefly look at these first. Remember when we did pronouns, we spoke about first person, second person and third person. Over here, this is the singular subject and these are the plural subject. So, when it is I, that is a singular subject, I, the base verb remains as the same. So, if it is walk, it will be I walk, I run, I jump. The plural also, as you can see, there is no change in the base verb. So, if you look at this table, first person singular, or just simply we can say I, we, you, the plural of you also is you, and they. I, we, you, they. Just take the verb as it is. There is no change in the base verb. Now they could refer to animals, names of some animals. They could refer to names of people also. So here there is no change. But when we are talking about the third person, that is he, she, it, whatever is the base verb, we just add s to it. So it becomes he walks, she walks, it walks. This is the basic rule. Okay. Now sometimes the base verb can end with y also. For example, it can be fly, fly, fly. So over here, I walk, I fly, we fly, because no change in the base verb. You fly, plural also, you fly. Over here plural, they also, you fly. Yes, where does the change come? The change will come now for he, she and it. The fly will become flies. We have looked into this many a times. Now properly we are going to look at the rule. So drop the y and add ies. So he flies, she flies, and it flies. This is the basic rule, and depending upon this only are rule 1 and rule 2, which we will see in the next slide. We are formed according to that. So let us look. So what we just referred to the basic rules, we've put them into as rule 1 and rule 2. Rule 1, singular subject, I've written in the short form, singular subject, we'll take a singular verb. For example, Meera writes neatly. Instead of Meera, you can also say she writes neatly. Or change the pronoun. If it is a boy, you will say he writes neatly. If it is they, what do we say? It becomes plural. That is the next rule. It will be they write neatly. You remain the same. You sing well. So this is the subject that you have to see everywhere. And according to that, you have to change the verb. Okay. Now rule 2, plural subject takes a plural verb. So the men, plural. So plural of is are in the field. Instead of men, we can take the boys, or we can just simply say they. They were. That's a simple past. They were in the park. Now let us look at the other rules one by one. Rule number 3. When there are two subjects in the same sentence and they are joined by the word and. So we have a subject, then we have the word and then we have the other subject. Then we use a plural verb along with it. For example, you have the boys and girls are studying. The cats and dogs are fighting. Gary and Tony are in the library. But again, we have an exception. Like always, we have lots of exceptions. So, what is the exception? For example, here I said bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. Here I said we should use the plural, but here why are we using is? We are using a singular verb. We are using a singular verb because when in a sentence, although the two subjects, that is bread and butter, although they are joined by the word and, but they are referring to the same idea. They are referring to the same thing. And what is it? Breakfast. So we always take bread and butter. Bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. But again, you have to pay little more attention to this, that bread and butter can also be used separately. Bread and butter are sold in the shop. Because when you go bread and butter, you don't get together. You have to buy a loaf of bread and you have to buy a bar of butter or a slice of butter that you have to buy over there. But here when we are talking, we are referring to it as a breakfast, one item only. Same way, idli and sambar, you can say. Idli and sambar is my favorite meal. Idli and sambar is my favorite breakfast item. So when they are referring to the same thing, like we talk about hard work. We are talking about hard work and whatever it is. Honesty, hard work can be along with determination. Hard work can be with dedication, with perseverance, so whatever it is. But when we are referring to it, to the same thing that we are talking about is the key to success. That means if you want to become successful, these are the qualities that are required. So when we are referring to the same thing, we use the singular verb. Next, rule number 4 is very easy. Collective noun, when we refer to them as one unit, we always use a singular verb. For example, you can see the flock of sheep. So when we talk about flock, this is one unit, the whole group of sheep that is there, we call it as flock. So the flock of sheep, we always use a singular verb, is grazing in the field. Grazing means eating grass. That activity we call it as, the action as grazing. Or you can say the band of musicians. The band is one unit. The band of musicians play well, or the band of musician plays well because it is again one singular unit, the third person, so we'll add s to the base verb. So this way we have rule number 3 and rule number 4. So till now I think it was very easy. Let's move on to 2 more rules for the day. Rule 5, that when two singular subjects are joined by these options. The first option is or, the next is either or the third option is neither nor. Then we use a singular verb. Like you can see in the sentence, Chetan, we are talking about Chetan and Anand. Chetan also is singular, a boy. Anand also is singular, he's a boy. So what is it? Either Chetan or Anand is, singular verb we've used, is the winner. So we've used either or it can also be neither nor. Neither Chetan nor Anand is the winner. Okay, so we've used either or, neither or, and simply if you have to use or, mother or father is at home. So this is what you need to remember as far as rule number 5 is concerned. Just pay a little more attention to rule number 6. In rule number 6, suppose you have a singular subject and a plural subject. Like you can see in the sentence. Either Sheila or her sister. Now, Sheila is there or her sisters. Now, Sheila is singular, sisters is plural. Then what do? We use the verb that is closest to the subject. That means we had, whom did we have? We had Sheila and we had her sisters. Now sisters is coming second time or sisters is second. So we will use a plural verb along with sister. So either Sheila or her sisters are at home. If we change the order and we make her sisters with the beginning of the sentence. So what is it? Neither her sisters. See the sisters, the plural part came in front. Nor Sheila. Sheila came the second time. That is closest to the verb. That if there is a dash over there, is at home. Very simple this is. Singular subject, plus the plural subject. Plural subject is closest, you use a plural verb. If we change the order, you put the plural subject first, like the sisters was there, and after that you put the singular subject, like Sheila was there, then we will use a singular verb. The verb that is closest to the subject, whichever is the subject. Plural subject, plural verb, singular subject, singular verb. So these are the 6 rules that we are going to cover today, because subject verb agreement we have a number of rules, nearly 12 to 13. 6 we will cover today, 6 we will do in part 2. So you need to see both the parts, that's part 1 and part 2, which will also be uploaded very soon, till the end, so that you know how to find the errors whenever it is given as a question. Find the errors, or simply even if it is a form of an exercise that you have to use the correct option, which verb you have to use, then also you should be aware of all these rules. So come on, let us see how we are going to put this into practice. Let's have our first exercise. So out with your writing materials to jot down your answers. You just have to choose the correct option that is given in the bracket and complete the sentence. So let's begin. Answer time, answer all in front of you. Like you can see, first is I. Whenever we have I or you or we or they, the base verb doesn't change, it remains as it is. So I know the answers. The birds is plural, so we take are. Neeta and her brother, joined by the word and, study in the library. Then, either my sister or brother, either and or is used, but we have a singular noun and a singular noun again, that is 2 singular subjects. So we will simply use the word is. Either my sister or brother is at home. Now next one was a singular subject Simmi and a plural subject parents. So you have to take the one which is closer to parents. Parents is plural. So we go in for know the stranger. Neither Simmi nor her parents know the stranger, because this was the third person plural, like they do not know the stranger. Then a gang of thieves, that's a collective noun, it always takes a singular noun, singular verb, sorry. So a gang of thieves was caught by the police, because we are taking gang as one collective unit. So just go through all these rules again, something new, something that you have to remember. Also, yes, some of the rules in grammar you have to remember, so that when you get a question, you can easily put it into practice. So that's all for today, and yes, we're going to meet again with part 2, so that we complete all the rules that are there to subject verb agreement. Till then, take care and goodbye.